Hey, I'm James, also known as Slim Jim. This is a quick update and reply to the questions from my previous video on my lights. If you missed it, click here, or none of this will make any sense. Most people are asking very similar questions, so I thought I'd answer them. Firstly, can this upgrade be done to standard headlights? No. Well, maybe. Not really a great start to an answer session. I guess you could make some kind of mount to replace the standard lights with LED units that I've used, but then you wouldn't have the Project Zeus surround to make them look good. You could make something like a surround, but that's like a whole other board game. Question, did you upgrade to a lume relay for your new LEDs? A little background on that, as I didn't really mention it in the video. One of the reasons the original headlights are so bad is that the power for them comes via the headlight switch directly, rather than using the switch feed to energize a relay, which would then power the lights to have a nice high amperage supply straight from the battery. Newer cars do this straight from factory, but the T4s, again, 80s technology, old stuff, don't. You can buy a relay kit for the T4, which apparently helps, but as I'm now running the LEDs that require much less power, they draw much less current than the OEM setup, so I didn't really need to do it. I did a few tests adding relays for the direct battery power, but it made no difference to the LED draw or output. If you've got the stock setup, you should buy the headlight lume upgrade and also some good bulbs like Osram night breakers, but I didn't need to do this. Another question, is it an easy thing to do? Well, I managed it, but I like to dabble in this kind of thing, although I'm a long way from really knowing what I'm doing, as you saw in the video before. It took a few attempts to get right, and if I did it again now, I would do them differently, and I might do that at some point anyway. I suppose you could say the hardest bit is actually getting the courage to cut up your Project Zeus frames, but now I've gone through a few iterations, my last approach actually means that I didn't have to cut them up. Never mind. Lots of questions. Can you make me some? Do you do a long nose version? Can I buy a set? No, no, and no. It was just a foray into madness for me. If you do have a set of Project Zeus, I would recommend having a go yourself. If you're really interested and you want more help, but more importantly, if you actually have a set you're willing to cut up, message me and I'll try my best to help you out with them. Although, like I say, my new approach, you don't need to cut them up, which is a little bit annoying. Another question, why have you got all the indicators in the world on the front of your van? It just so happened that the lights I picked, both sets have got orange halo options. As I've got the side stock repeaters, I didn't actually need to wire up the indicators on both those, but I did because why not? I think I will have to set up a relay for that because annoyingly the low power from the headlights means they don't come on fully together and they're just a little bit annoying because they don't come on all bright at once. Speaking of annoying, what's with the stupid spinny halo thing, and is that legal? So when you disconnect a power feed on one of the other LED headlight wires, the halo changes from being constant side light circle halo to being this weird chasey spinny thing. I have no idea why. I suppose it's cool, but it's a little bit bling for me, says the guy that wears nothing but yellow. It's kind of good for shows, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal. Not 100% sure, but I presume there would be. I don't really use it, but I can do for shows, and there you go. How else can I make my own lights better? As I said before, on the standard setup, you need a headlight lume, and Osram night breakers are supposed to be the best combination, those two. I'll stick a link to these in the description. I don't endorse any of the links, as I've never used them, but it's something for you to look at if you just want brighter lights. Other than that, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the quad headlight solution that is currently in development. They've been in development for a long time. These are the brainchild of a friend of mine called Turk. If you haven't heard of them, they're everywhere. Just do a bit of a search, you'll find them. He's been working on developing them for a long time, as I said. People moan he's taking too long. All I know is that I was just doing a single conversion, one set for me, and it took me a long time to do. I didn't have to make them to be reproduced over and over. I didn't start from scratch. I used the Project Zeus to build on, so I have no idea where to even start. So I'm a huge fan of Turk. I think he does a fantastic job. I am on the waiting list for a set of Turk's quads. Hopefully I'm pretty near the top. I think I am. I do want a set so I can compare them and review them to my own setup. I can decide which one I want to run full term, dependent on what they look like, what the quality is. But I do know that his, quality-wise, will be better than mine. Mine are just hacked together in a garage. Oh, something the wonderful keyboard warriors were quick to point out is that the Vans came out in 1990, but I talked a lot about 80s tech with reference to the lights. Well, if they were released in 1990, when do you think the tech was developed? Not that same year. Anyway, back to question. The last question, where are you sitting? I'm in my garage where I store all my tools that I don't know how to use. I did a few mods over lockdown in here, painted the walls white, which was a real pain because they're mostly breeze block and brick and they suck all the paint in, so it takes forever to do. I also managed to get a local floor company to come in and resin the floor. They cut down with this really cool polisher thing that got diamond bit on the floor, make it all flat and clean. I'm very, very happy with it. It's very easy to clean, non-slip even when it's wet. Great for me, very hard wearing, really happy with it. I did 4 full-length shelves to get everything off the floor, put some LEDs under it because I love LEDs. Combination of these shelves, the SGS toolboxes, my homemade Ryobi setup rack thing helps me keep organised, but I'm not because it's always very crazy. This is where I do all my random projects. Some work, some don't, all the gear, no idea. Hopefully that's answered the bulk of the questions I had from the last video. As for the next video, there was an overwhelming vote for it to be on the drivetrain. I have started planning that video, but I've just got back from picking the van up from the legendary diesel mapper Bobby Singh. You should definitely go and have a look at his channel. Some very cool stuff and big, but more importantly, reliable numbers and very smooth graphs. There's a video on his channel of my van on the rolling road if you want a sneak peek, but I want to make sure I get you all the latest info, so my next video might be a little bit delayed because I can't go into too much detail on the results until I've driven it for a while. But it's so smooth now. The power band is down to around 2.5k instead of 3.5 where it was before. The reason it was up there was because we changed the turbo, so nothing to do with the map that it was on, but we changed the turbo, so pushed it higher up. The power band was so high it was unusable. I mean, it was fun because the turbo kicked in, you got a big kick, but it was unusable on the street and too high. And the new map makes it so much more drivable, so a huge thanks to Bobby. Not that they matter, but I'm really happy with the numbers. Exciting stuff. Well, that's the quick catch-up video, trying to clear up a few things. I'm always happy to read your questions and comments, so leave them down below. Hope to see you next time. Cheers. Engine setup and turbo and AX. Fuck it, I can't be arsed with this shit. Let's just use what we've got. And if it's no good, I can come back and do it differently.